Welcome back. Decision 2024. Today, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are both making their final pitches to voters in those critical battleground states.
Vice President Harris is calling on Americans now to turn the page on divisive politics, while former President Donald Trump is trying to cool anger after a comedian's vulgar comments about Puerto Rico.
Here's NBC's Alice Barr.
And I did this work.
In the final days of the presidential campaign, dueling speeches, former President Trump rallying supporters in Pennsylvania.
I'll protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families.
As Vice President Harris delivered her closing argument.
I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions.
Speaking from the same spot where former President Trump rallied supporters before the January 6 Capitol attack, she warned a second Trump term would bring more serious consequences.
This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power.
The former president, meanwhile, seized on comments from President Biden, talking by Zoom with a Latino group about a comedian's racist joke at the Trump Madison Square Garden rally Sunday, calling Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Remember Hillary? She said deplorable. That didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right?
President Biden later clarifying that he was referring to the, quote, hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally. The Trump campaign says the comedian's comments don't reflect Mr. Trump's views.
Probably he shouldn't have been there, yeah.
All as Vice President Harris seeks to cast herself as a unifier, arguing that former President Trump calls those who disagree with him the enemy, while
I'll give them a seat at the table.
Contrasting visions in a race down to the wire. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.